There's 6 years between me and Kirby. 4 years between me and Bonnie. Mom and Dad had been married about 10 and a half, 11 years before I came along. It was shocking in the 1950s. Mom and Dad had a boy and a girl. They had the perfect pair. Kirby didn't think that was nuts. You know? Most of you are over 18. My brother found something called a diaphragm. And he thought it was cool, so he proceeded to poke holes in it. I'm here because of my brother. That was one of those stories I didn't hear till much later because, you know, Mama didn't share it. Sorry, Amber, and she wasn't being 6 years younger, Kirby was the hurricane down the hall. We had a small 3-bedroom house, and Kirby's bedroom was down the hall to the left. Door was always shut. Loud music, unusual smells, open windows, lots of, if the door opened, you kind of skittered to get out of its way. But we always did dinner at 6 o'clock, you know. Kirby was the smartest guy I knew. I've taught middle school for 28 years, and up until 6 months ago, if I had a question about history or social studies or language arts or when to use the apostrophe or the comma, I called Kirby. You know, if I needed to know who said this quote or, you know, anything, he was the smartest guy in the world. I asked him to read a scripture at my wedding because he had that voice, like you said, disembodied voice. And sometimes it was pompous and arrogant, and sometimes it was more pompous and more arrogant because he knew it all. He was the hurricane down the hall. You know, when I became aware of him, he was already in his troubled years. Bonnie was hiding out and socializing, and I kind of just played with my Barbie dolls and stayed out of the way. When he was about 14 or 15, we used to go on family vacations, and we'd meet up with a bunch of other college professors and their families, and we'd stay at different universities. The college professors' dads would go to meetings, and the moms would go do mom things, and the teenagers would go do teenager things, and the kids would go to the zoo and the park. Well, I like to tag along with Kirby and his gang of 14 and 15-year-olds, and we were staying in a college dorm that had an elevator that opened up onto sort of the balcony area, and then you'd go into the dorms. And one of his friends, he was very large and not as intelligent as Kirby, decided to scoop me up. I was probably 7 or 8 at the time, and hold me out over the 3rd floor balcony. That was the first time in my life I knew my brother loved me, because he said, "Hey, Walter, you know, if you drop her, I'm going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble." And Walter, being not as smart as Kirby, looked at Kirby, turned that way, and said, "Dang." And I'm here today. He didn't say I love you. In fact, a lot of times he told me I was pretty stupid. But it kind of made us mad. Bonnie and I both became school teachers and said, well, Texas is smart enough to hire us, we must have some intelligence. And look, this piece of paper here says we are educated. The cow story they told, Mom and Dad's 60th wedding anniversary, so I was about 48 years old. And I was the snitch. And they probably were right not to tell me till I was 48. But my 2 children, when they heard the story and saw the blush on my face, thought it was hysterical. They kept it secret for 48 years. Kirby and I had rough times. We lost our dad in December. And the last time Kirby and I were together, we had harsh words because everybody was a little raw. And Kirby and I did talk on the phone in January and February. And I was with my mom from 2 a.m. to 3:30 a week ago Thursday. And Mom and I talked to him. I don't know how much he absorbed. But, like Bobby said, he's my big brother. And he always will be. Robbie's been amazing. Tristan and Gaia are the most fantastic, intelligent young people I've ever met. Sorry, Luke. my son is front row. But, you know, my sister, my brother, and I have raised 6 amazing children. They range in age from 19 to 31. Yes, I was a child, right? Yes. And Kirby was the radical, he was the fun uncle, he was the old hippie. But, damn, it was an exciting ride. And I knew he wasn't well. And I think I might have been the only one amongst us that knew, unfortunately, that I didn't think he would make it another year. He just used himself up. And that's the phrase I use. Back in 1975, Kirby had an amazing friend who passed away at the age of 17. And Kirby and this young man had a pact that they would not live to be 30. And this young man died at 17. And I think Kirby got mad at himself from age 31 on that he was still here. And he was having a fairly good life. Amazing. Robbie, it's just, you know, I kind of like her better than him. And the kids are just fantastic. And Kirby was just sort of, you know, the icing, the decoration, the hurricane at the end of the hall. But I'm so quiet now. So, and y'all are just amazing. I'm addicted to Facebook, and the things that y'all have posted, and the stories you've told, and the pictures. Oh my God, the pictures that people have shared. And I just want to say thank you for all of the love and affection from everywhere in the world. And I just want to thank everybody so much.
All right, I am sorry for hogging all the spotlight. I actually don't have anything to say this time, for once in my entire life. But I do have words from a Mr. Rich again, who is, I suppose, my co-conspirator at hogging the spotlight at this point. So, yes, just imagine me with exceptionally long blue hair right now. I am calling him, putting him on speaker, and we will... All right, can anybody hear Rich? Rich, say a word. Hello?
Hi, Rich.
It is on speaker. Oh, hold on a second. We actually have a sinister plan. Eric can fix this.
Okay.
Yes, we've got you hooked up to an actual boombox right now. Yes. So, did you have something to say, or were you just wanting to hear better?
No, I was going to say,
Okay.
it's been Kirby was one of the bad news. I heard all this stuff about conversation and whatnot, and I don't know if this thing about the way you said, when I hear about my computer, probably the thing is that wants to be checked, but one is, as I said earlier, Kirby took me in, and Kirby was a son, and wanted me to do this committee, and I remember there being one incident in particular where I was supposed to be going to California. And right before I was walking out of the driveway, came over to the body and spotted me. And long story short, they ended up pulling me over in front of this place right there in the driveway. And we're not relaxing, doing anything, walking out, and went to Scott and said, hey, I'm down there, I'm going to get international about to California and one day and go to the monastery, and that's that. You know, these cops were probably more afraid of him than I was at that point. And, you know, end of story is so just looking and said, hey, you lady love him? Said yes. So you hungry? Said yes. We ended up having dinner that night, and, yeah, I mean, as I said in the article that I posted, Kirby stopped me here, but it always came to heart, and he didn't have to care about me, and he didn't need to believe he did, but that was just who he was, and yeah, man, I really been very, very angry, straight to Kirby, friend, mentor, thank you for everything you did for me, man. Thank you, thank everyone that you want to support me this time. Bye.
So that was Rich. I hope y'all could understand him at least partially okay. Yeah. And that was my house. I'll take over for a minute. I'll probably be back.
My name is DSCN6253KIRBY Sanders. I'm supposed to be giving the goodbye, but I'll get a little story out. Please, excuse me for a little bit. I am my dad's daughter. I didn't always see eye to eye with him, I admit that. And you know, for a really long time, I thought he and I had little in common. But now, I know we do. I know for a fact we do. I am stubborn, I am headstrong, and you know what? Excuse my French, but there are some people who, if you ask, they would say I am a dick. And if you ask some people, they would say Kirby is a dick. I am definitely my dad's daughter, and I'm sorry I didn't really see that earlier. 19 years, it kind of took that to set in. But, I admit, I don't use Facebook all that often. I use a different site called Tumblr, and, you look at my dad's Facebook, and then you look at my Tumblr, you can see how my political views and how I act like him with some of my political posts. I cannot tell you the rants I have gone on, and no, none of you can have my Tumblr because, well, I know at least one of us here would
die, she saw kind of language I was But, like I said, I did not always see eye to eye with my dad. Maybe to his face I got along with him pretty well, but behind his back I did the typical teenage girl thing of talking behind it. Because what else is a teenage girl supposed to do? I'm 19. What do you expect? And I admit that I see faults in people, and I tend to focus on those faults, and my dad is no exception. But thinking back on it and hearing the story, he was a really good person. And I don't feel like him, I'm not gonna lie. Because he was fine with himself. And he was gypsy. He was fine with himself. And I have always wanted to be that. I know my faults, I admit them. That's where I share something with my dad. And I want to travel like he did. I want to meet people like he did. I hope that when I die, there will be people like you who will tell stories with me the way you guys have told with him. Thank you all for coming. It means an awful lot to every one of us, to his family, friends, the acquaintances who barely even knew him. It means a lot to all of us. We will be reconvening at the store in class. Thank you again.
I just have one last thing, I swear to God. One, I wanted to follow up on Aunt Barbie when I say, suck it, Lewis!